K-pop is known worldwide for its hit tracks, flashy outfits, amazing visuals, top-notch choreography, and its dedicated fan base. From the outside looking in, the K-pop idol life shimmers brightly. In front of the cameras, gorgeous idols happily smile, perform, and interact with their fans. They really sell the idol lifestyle and make it look fun and glamorous. But when the cameras turn off and the studio lights dim, for too many K-pop idols, the world suddenly becomes more grim, depressing, and even dangerous. Few fans are aware of what their favorite idols have to deal with behind the scenes, not just from Saesung fans, but from their very own companies. The saying, "Not everything that glitters is gold," cannot be more true. Today, we will be revealing the top most mistreated groups in K-pop. Number 1. GOT7. This is a South Korean boy group formed by JYP and consisting of 7 members. They debuted with the song Girls, Girls, Girls in 2014. They have been massively successful, gaining a huge worldwide following, along with countless awards and praise. Still, they never reached their potential because they were too limited by their company. K-pop fans still argue to this day over whether or not GOT7 was mistreated or simply mismanaged. But in any case, everyone can agree that during their time working under the company, GOT7 deserved better. An example of this mistreatment was the company's seeming lack of interest in its own group, despite their success. The group has long suffered from a lack of music releases and short promotions. Their EP Die was released on April 20th, 2021, and the promotions ended just 14 days later on May 3rd. And their album Breath of Love, Last Piece had a promotion time that was even shorter. The gap between their album releases and group activities was so significant that Mark and Jinyoung had both admitted to being jobless for nearly 7 months. Even Mark's father expressed on Twitter that the group had been mistreated. J Park is quoted as saying he doesn't like his artists to outshine him. The company sometimes scheduled GOT7 world tours alongside their album releases, forcing fans to choose which one they wanted more because few fans could afford a concert ticket and an album. Because of this, GOT7 sales suffered greatly. Their album sales also suffered because there were times when JYP simply didn't order enough albums to sell at respected websites like Sinara. The website had to issue an apology when they ran out of GOT7 albums to sell to fans on the second day after their album release. There was also blatant disrespect of members, like the infamous incident where during a live, the boys were seated around a table of food. Mark asked a manager for chopsticks to eat his salad, but what he was given was dirty, used chopsticks. There was simply no reason to disrespect a GOT7 member like that. In the end, he resigned himself to eating with his hands. Another example of the group's mistreatment is their lack of freedom of expression and creative freedom. Jackson Wang, Bam Bam, and Jinyoung are talented songwriters and composers, yet their track lists reveal that they have only contributed to a few songs. JB is a mega talented producer. However, he has admitted that most of his tracks get rejected, since JYP will only hear 5 seconds of the track before deciding it isn't good enough. These were just a few examples of GOT7's mistreatment, but we think you get the picture. And when GOT7 finally left the company, fans celebrated their freedom. So you know it's bad when a fan base is happy to hear that their favorite idols aren't renewing their contracts. Fans simply say GOT7 didn't disband, they only left JYP Entertainment. Now they're free. Number 2 is Pristin. This is a South Korean girl group formed by Pledis Entertainment in 2016, consisting of 10 members. They released their first mini-album, Hi Pristin, on March 21st of 2017. Originally, Pledis Entertainment had high hopes for the girl group. 2 members were originally in a popular group called IOI, the leader and one of the visuals, Chinese member Kyul Kyung. These 2 alone should have secured a decent-sized fan base for this group upon debut. Their debut song was Wee Woo, debuting at number 4 on the Gaon album chart. So what went wrong with this group? Pledis Entertainment. At the time, their girl group, After School, hadn't had a comeback in 5 years, yet they weren't disbanded. So you can almost foreshadow the kind of neglect this girl group would go through. One particular incident that stands out to fans to this day is American member Kyla. She was only 15 at the time when they debuted, and she unfortunately was subjected to the harsh Korean beauty standards pushed by ruthless netizens. They mercilessly fat-shamed her, stating that she wasn't thin enough to be an idol. Critics said she should go on a diet, while memes mocking her weight circulated online. And if that wasn't damaging enough to the self-esteem of a young girl, photographers at fan meets would ignore her as she posed for cameras, in favor of her thinner members. Rather than call these people out, shut down the bullying, or even threaten lawsuits, the company did not stand by her. Instead, they put her on an indefinite hiatus, almost like they agreed with the critics after all. More bullying incidences happened, which the company pretty much ignored. After Kyla's hiatus, fans grew concerned for her and the group in general. They asked the company for an update on them, but they were met with a deafening silence that lasted 9 months. The company broke their silence about the group when they announced the subunit Pristin V, which coincidentally enough consisted of 5 of the most popular members. This group was to be given more activities than the original group. This, of course, enraged longtime fans of Pristin. There was still no word on Kyla either, although photos of her working at a carnival in the United States were circulating online, and Pristin members were beginning to delete their company-based social media accounts. When there were whispers that Kyla had terminated her contract, Pledis Entertainment did not comment on them. Fans reached out to the company in various ways for answers, but the company showed its lack of care to the fanbase and Pristin with its continued silence. This silence lasted until May of 2019, when the company finally announced the group's disbandment, revealing that only 3 members would continue to work with the company, while 7 had terminated their contracts. Many fans foresaw this disbandment, but what hurt them the most was the way things were handled. Number 3 is iKON. Originally a 7-member group, iKON debuted under YG Entertainment in 2015. iKON was the company's 4th boy band, who was first introduced in a reality survival show. They started off really strong, with their studio album called Welcome Back, debuting at the top of the South Korean album charts. The group continued to release music, and even began touring Asia from 2016 to 2017. Overall, iKON performed 28 concerts around Asia, including 12 concerts held in just 6 days. All this while also flying to China regularly for a Chinese dance survival show alongside Psy. Due to the constant traveling and work they had to do before touring and appearing on the Chinese show, they weren't always provided with proper amenities. Sometimes they were forced to sleep on mats on the floor. During their second tour, Hanbin injured his eye. Despite Hanbin's inability to see, he was forced to perform on stage. This upset fans, and even people who did not stan the group were worried for them. As the tours continued, the members began to look thin, forcing many to wonder if they were being treated well and being cared for properly. Fans noticed that the boys would sometimes perform with oxygen masks in their hands. YG Entertainment is known for being an expensive brand, but they often snubbed iKON when it came to fashion. They've been seen on television wearing beat-up, repainted boots, and they even performed at the music awards with articles of clothing that cost between $8 and $30. Fans also noticed that they wore each other's clothes to photo shoots and music videos, and that some of the outfits from their first tour were simply reused on their second tour. But the worst thing that happened to this group was definitely the situation with Hanbin. Hanbin, the group's leader, rapper, and even song producer, was forced to leave the group after a drug scandal, although he did not even consume drugs. His extreme importance to the group should have made the company want to fight for him and find out the truth behind the accusations, but they simply pushed him out as the rumors surfaced. iKON was forced to perform at their show without Hanbin just a few weeks later, and all of them were still visibly upset. Some were even seen crying. Number 4 is BAP. This is a South Korean boy group that debuted in 2012 under the company TS Entertainment. They consisted of 7 members, and they were extremely talented. Longtime K-pop fans praise this group as being the influence for many of the boy groups of today who have an edgier image with a heavy emphasis on rap in their music. This group not only had amazing vocalists, but they had real rappers like Jungkook and Zello, whose music careers began in underground K-hip-hop, this group's talented rap line, were partly responsible for influencing the public's higher expectation of rappers and K-pop groups. Suddenly, it wasn't okay just to be a mediocre idol rapper. Their talent was unmatched for their time, and even people who aren't fans acknowledge that if their company hadn't messed up their careers, they'd easily be reigning as one of the kings of K-pop right now. BAP, like other groups on our list, started off extremely strong. Their popularity was on par with EXO, who at the time had taken over the K-pop world, and BAP easily rivaled everyone. They won Best New Artist at the Seoul Music Awards in 2013, and Best Korean Act in 2014 at the MTV Europe Music Awards. So what went wrong? Jungkook has often been quoted saying, "Don't buy our albums, don't support our company." You know it's bad when the leader of a popular boy group tells their fans this not once, but multiple times on Twitter, Instagram, in fan meetings, and even concerts. Fans didn't know it at the time, but BAP was suffering from extreme abuse under what can only be seen as inhumane slave contracts. The company packed their schedules up to 7 comebacks in a year and non-stop concerts, even forcing members to perform when sick. Member and vocalist Daehyun fell ill and was admitted to the hospital for treatment for exhaustion and a severe cold. He was on an IV recovering in the hospital when, against the hospital's wishes, TS Entertainment took Daehyun out of their care and forced him to perform on stage, threatening to sue him if he didn't. Medical expenses were often covered by the members' parents rather than the agency. The group claimed they were unable to communicate with their families and weren't even aware that they were the most successful K-pop group at the height of their own careers. In terms of finances, when BAP earned approximately $9.1 million USD in sales for their company, they say overall each member only saw about $16,300 USD of that money. The group submitted a lawsuit on November 26th of 2014 to nullify their contract. The suit claimed that the group's contract was advantageous to the company and unfavorable to the members. Their contract apparently didn't officially begin when they signed it, but instead when their first album was released, which went against the rules outlined by the Fair Trade Commission for the Prevention of Slave Contracts. Civil rights were also violated, as well as unfair profit distribution. In response to the lawsuit, the company had this to say: "Currently, we're looking into the details of the matter. However, the unfair contract clauses and slave contracts that were mentioned in the previous reports as the main issues brought up by the lawsuit do not exist. And unilateral unfair treatment of the artists by our agency also never happened." Although they ended up settling with the company, none of the members renewed their contracts. Number 5 is trcng. Now, trcng is a South Korean boy group consisting of 10 members under the label TS Entertainment. Anyone noticing a pattern here? Anyone? The group debuted with the song Spectrum in 2017. Although the group was doing well and their fan base was growing, 2 members, Woyup and Tyson, filed a contract termination request in 2019 due to mistreatment of children, assault, and extortion. Just like with the BAP situation, TS Entertainment denied the members' claims. This forced the members, Woyup and Tyson, to turn to Dispatch to expose the proof of their mistreatment, and it's honestly horrific. The kind of living conditions an agency gives its idols says a lot about how much they respect them and ultimately care about them. So it was a shock and surprise when netizens learned the conditions of trcng's living arrangements. The members all shared 2 rooms, 8 members in one room and 2 in another on the second floor. Woyup revealed that the second floor was basically a storage room. The ceiling is low, so you can't stand up straight. It's not heated well either. We had to live cluttered around our belongings, clothes, and equipment. The apartment was also old, run down, and falling apart due to lack of maintenance. They revealed that their electricity and water was often cut off because TS Entertainment frequently failed to pay their utility bills, and their own parents had to pay for plumbing for the single working toilet when it broke down because the company wouldn't pay. When the air conditioning broke down during one of the hottest summers in Korea, the members' mothers had to step in and pay for one. The repairman said that the place was like a steam room. He said, "How can trainees live here? They're going to get sick. Imagine having millions of dollars you took from your group BAP, but still failing to pay your water and light bills." When it came to food and clothing, the members had to cover these expenses themselves. Members were physically injured by staff as well, which could be seen in photos way up in Tyson released. Everything from being hit with toothbrushes to metal chairs. All members state that they were hit at some point, including by the director of the agency, although he denies it. Finally, TS Entertainment wouldn't be complete without their slave contracts. According to their contract for trcng, the company would keep 90% of earnings from album releases, while each member earned 1%. And to make matters worse, their debt to the company began 6 years before their debut, and it only continued to grow. By their 3rd year in the industry, they had earned $230,000 USD, yet they owed their company $1.2 million USD. There's rumors that this company has since closed, and if it's true, good riddance. Number 6 is Stellar. Stellar is a South Korean girl group who debuted in 2011 under The Entertainment Pascal, formerly known as Top Class Entertainment. The members of this group have been through so many hardships. It's tough enough that they were from a small company and had 2 unsuccessful first songs called Rocket Girl and UFO, forcing them to change their final lineup of members. In 2013, things got better for them. They had a cute girl crush concept and released their single Study. This was their first song to reach the top 100. A year later, they released their first album called Marionette. This is where things went downhill. The company wanted to rid them of their cute image and give them something more sexy and seductive. The original music video for Marionette had to be labeled 19+ due to certain scenes, but it was due to this controversy that it became Stellar's most famous song. Member Gayeon revealed that the company had tricked the group into recording certain scenes in the music video. Apparently the staff never fully admitted their intentions to the members while filming. Gayeon, who was only 20 at the time, said that there was a scene where a member had to drink milk. The script was this: "You're missing an ex, rolling on bed, waking up, and drinking milk." At the time, we thought they simply wanted her to drink milk to portray a mourning moment. They even told her to spit the milk while drinking to portray an exhausting image. But this scene can make you imagine even more. No one knew that was the purpose of the scene. She was so shocked that to this day she cannot drink milk. Every time the girls would try to protect themselves, they were threatened with penalties, and because they were so young at the time, they just chose to be silent. There were also times when the entire group had to split a single meal among themselves. They were often hungry. For their song Vibrato, they had to wear very revealing outfits. When the members refused, the staff told them to just give it a try before saying no. Eventually, we reluctantly took about 5 photos wearing those outfits, but it was too much. They seemed to agree with us, but ended up releasing the pictures anyway. Right after seeing those pictures, Gayeon said they called the company and argued, but the company just put the matter aside and said, "Sorry, we won't do it again." After their concert called Interstellar, Gayeon and Jungyeol decided not to renew their contracts. In early 2018, Stellar officially disbanded. Gayeon revealed it was not only the members, but their families who were hurt by their concept. She said, "Our parents were also very sad. They often hear people ask, 'Why are your children doing this?' Thankfully, the members all managed to escape that horrible company. They're happy now, and they're living their own lives. But there's no doubt that this predatory company took advantage of them. To make matters worse, it was revealed that during the 7 years of working under Stellar, each member was only paid 9,000 USD, despite being very popular and bringing the company a lot of money. At last, we have the Eastlight. The Eastlight is a South Korean boy group consisting of 6 members. They debuted in 2016 under the company Medialine Entertainment. This is probably the worst case in all of K-pop history, due to how young the boys were when it all took place. The oldest was only 14 years old. They were all middle school and elementary school children. Members of the group continue to have nightmares to this day about the horror they experienced, and member Lee Sung-hoon had to attend psychological therapy. The Eastlight's producer Moonyoung would hit the members with different items like iron bar mops, mic stands, and more. One time, after all 6 members went out to eat without informing anyone, the producer got so angry he took a baseball bat and hit all 6 of them. When members would make mistakes during practice, the producer would strangle them with guitar cables. A member revealed that he had scars and bruises due to this incident, and it's not like this man didn't know what he was doing. It's been reported that he would instruct members to hide the CCTV cameras before he beat the youngest child. In June of 2019, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison, which outraged the public, who claimed the punishment was too soft for the trauma he had caused. The sad truth is, there's so many incidences out there that we couldn't fit them all in this video, or it would be too long, but we'll quickly mention a few more here. There's the group called The Rose, which terminated their contract with J&Star Company in early 2020 due to, quote, lack of payment, breakdown of trust, and even violation of exclusive contract. And after a year-long dispute with the agency, the band settled their lawsuit and parted ways with the label. Then, for all you old K-pop heads out there, you probably remember Block B, who less than 2 years into their careers, all decided to take their company Stardom Entertainment to court. This is very rare in K-pop for a rookie group to do, but the boys had good reason. The company agreed to pay them monthly after they signed their exclusive contract, but ultimately, the company failed to do so. Block B was never paid for the effort they put into their promotions, performances, not even their self-written albums. According to Block B, their event appearances, OST recordings, fan club activities, and more were never calculated as part of their pay. And to make matters worse, the Stardom CEO scammed their parents $70,000, claiming it would be used for promotion and production costs, but instead, that money vanished and was never seen again. And there are groups who are being managed in ways that are highly questionable, like 8D Creative's boy group, Only One Of, whose member Mill was publicly humiliated by the company that allegedly made him shave his head and go on hiatus for breaking, quote, company rules. Why announce that publicly to further punish and embarrass him? Not to mention the heart-wrenching announcement they made in their fan cafe that the group's main singer and leader, Love, was leaving the group for, quote, personal reasons. This comment was only posted in their fan cafe, not publicly on all of their platforms, and it wasn't even translated for international fans. And it was also made shortly after Love's birthday, after he had happily told fans he was excited about their upcoming music and promotions. The company has since ignored fans who are demanding a more clear explanation, and they've also avoided posting on social media while blocking and suspending the accounts of anyone who asks about Love in their fan cafe. So as you can see, this list is long, and sadly it's growing longer with each passing year. Imagine all the rookie groups, all the trainees, and all the underrated groups who are not well known enough for the public to be aware of their difficult situations. What do you think about this secret and sad side of K-pop? Did we miss any groups? Let's start the discussion in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.